What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video on the Musical Mechanic YouTube channel. Thanks for being here. Today's video, we're going to be working on a new to the channel car. I've had it for quite some time, but with that being said, let's just get into it. This is my daily driver. So if you follow me on TikTok, you've seen this car before, but this is my 99 Electron Blue Pearl Honda Civic SI. It's a true SI, and as you can see, you know, it's all stanced out and your typical Honda boy stuff. It's not the most amazing shaped car, but it's not in terrible shape by any means. So my plans for this car are, you know, I'm gonna try and put it back to stock basically as best as possible. I might keep a few things here and there that I like per se this nice carbon fiber hood that I picked up last week. This is new to the car. I love the way it looks on it, and eventually I might, you know, I plan on buying basically a whole new front end and stuff like that to have everything repainted and, you know, be good for body work and just ready to paint, and have the whole car repainted so it's all nice and mint. So then that hood might go on another car back here that I have as a project, and we'll get into that some other time. But basically the goal is to basically get this thing looking close to OEM because they're just worth more nowadays, and so, you know, that's my goal. So as you can see under the bay here, this is every 16-year-old's dream. No AC, no cruise control. Power steering's there, but sadly the power steering rack is bad. We've got every silicone Samco sport hose you can ask for. I put the whale penis on there because, well, you know, I like that. The Optima battery, the flaky factory B16 valve cover, and your Blox intake manifold, your B-Series 4-to-1 header, your Blox radiator. So sadly enough, most of that stuff's going to come out of here. I'm going to be taking the AC from the car back there that I have not introduced to the channel yet and putting it back in this. The cruise control, the power steering, the windshield washer fluid reservoir and pump and all that stuff. You know, anything that I can get this thing pretty much back to stock. I'm talking stock manifold, stock hoses, stock intake manifold, stock exhaust manifold, stock air box, stock suspension, you know, but we're gonna start small and we'll get there. So with that being said, one of the first things I need to fix is this. So I put this new carbon fiber hood on here the other day, and before it had hood pins here and here, and I shut the hood and I couldn't get it open, and I was like, oh shoot. So I ended up being able to get the bumper to come off by popping out a few of what clips are here and pull it off, because it has these quick disconnects pretty easily. And then I was able to access the latch and unbolt it and then get it unlatched and all that, and I figured out that the cable was bad, not the latch. So I did order a new cable, so we're going to be replacing that today. That's one of the things. So first things first, I got to start by pulling off this fender. So that's what we're going to be doing first. But I guess first, before I start doing that, we're going to be messing with these. These are 99 2000 Honda Civic SI wheels. This is just dried aircraft stripper. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be cleaning these up because, as you can see, they've got terrible aluminum oxidation on them, and I'm going to strip them down to bare aluminum. And if I have to, wet sand, buff, polish, whatever, give it a try. Get those things looking great, because eventually these will be going back on there to get rid of those big stance wheels. I love the way it looks on those, but again, I'm trying to go for the factory look. And instead of wasting a bunch of material and trying to do all four at one time, I'm just gonna do one and see how it turns out. And then, you know, I will dictate whether or not I have to find another set or have somebody professionally do this or what I'm gonna do. But hopefully, you know, these clean up nice and they will look great on this car. So we're gonna be messing with those two things for right now. So I had this spray can and it just quit spraying, and it's still full, which sucks. But as you see, it says non-methylene chloride. And same thing with this 2-minute remover that I got. It doesn't have the methylene chloride in it. Back in the day, you used to be able to buy this stuff. It stung if you got on your skin a lot worse, eyes, whatever. Methylene chloride was the go-to. It was good stuff, but we're going to do our best with what we can get our hands on nowadays, and that's this stuff. I picked this up for about 25 bucks, and we're going to be applying it with a paintbrush heavily onto that rim there, and we will do what we can to see, you know, if it makes a big difference. So I'm going to be dumping a lot of that into here so that I can brush it in, and I will put this out there. This is a Ford Econoline van hubcap, center cap, whatever you want to call it, and it's going to work great for this because that stuff will eat through plastic, so we're going to have to use something metal. And I had these laying around. I thought, well, this one's dented, I'll use it. So, you know, I applied this pretty generously, and we're gonna leave this sit for a little while and see how it comes out. Might whip the hose out afterward, which is already out and ready to go, and power wash this off. But while we're doing that and waiting, instead of just sitting around doing nothing, we're going to be pulling this fender off so that I can access the proper route for the new hood latch cable. So pretty simple. It's just 10, 10, 10. I've got one inside here for the fender, and then also these two down here. And I'm going to be reworking this messed up fender here because this thing's in not the best of shape, but it is all one color instead of the black one that I used to have on there. And luckily the side skirt's already off, or those wouldn't be as easily accessible. Poof, just like that. It's off. Movie magic, whatever. It's really dirty in there. That's another thing. I'm going to be replacing when I try and find stock fender liners so they don't have all this debris and mud getting up in here. It's, you know, not good. Imagine if that in the winter was salt, which I don't drive it in the winter, but that's how you get rot. And so definitely going to have to find some inner fender liners, but we do have this off, and you can see where this goes in. So we're just going to pop this all apart here and start running our new latch. Pretty simple stuff. As you can see, there's my pull cable, which is actually not broke like most Hondas, but it's just two 10mm bolts to pull that off, and then you're going to be pulling it from here back through and feeding your new one in from here back out. And I want to make note that you usually would have a kick panel here, but like I said, this was a 16-year-old's dream car that they did not give a shit about. So that's what we're going to do. Yank those two 10s out, and then we will start riding our new cable. Pretty easy stuff, and we're going to go pop that grommet and start pulling it through. So basically you're going to want to pull this out and then pull this all the way up the cable here. So, or just cut it off, whatever, because you have to pull it, you know, or you can pull it through there if you want to, but I'm just going to cut it off to make my life easier and so forth. So I should just be able to yank this thing straight on out of here. Like that. Jungle cables out. I'll just do the same thing we did backwards and we'll be happy. Then I gotta feed it into the latch and all that stuff, but easy stuff. So we've got it halfway routed, and the next thing I'm gonna do is be pulling this bumper off. My car, it's pretty simple, but on a factory car you would just have like a Phillips head or 8mm here. All of these clips that half of them missing, and same thing on this side. And then it would just pull off, maybe on the bottom if you have a factory lip, or the plastic that's usually there factory, there'll be a bunch of those tabs again, but you know, this thing's 20-something years old, so it's been messed with. But we're gonna pull that off, needless to say the less, and we're gonna continue to route this hood latch cable. You just take a screwdriver and you push in here, pop the center up out of that like that, and then they pull right on out. And then try not to lose them because, well, if you buy them from Honda, they're kind of expensive for something that shouldn't be. But, yep, pretty simple stuff. So yeah, if you ever have this issue and you need to rig something up, basically I just cut the cable that was seized and I rehooked it up to my latch, and voila, you stick it through your grill like that and you can still pull on it and at least access your car to check oil, because most Hondas leak oil and all your other essential fluids, just because you should keep up on regular maintenance. Well, goodbye with that and hello to the new one. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this latch out to make my life easier. As you can see, there's supposed to be a bolt here, which never was, this one, and that one. So there's three. Pull it off, real simple stuff, 10mm again. So if you've ever wondered how the hood latch works, you just pull your cable and boom, it releases. This one is also messed up because it's the 16-year-old's dream car. They decided to cut your safety latch, the secondary, the one that you push over when you pop your hood. So that one pops it and this one releases it. So eventually we're going to be replacing that and basically doing half of this over again, but for now, until I pick up a new hood latch, boom, voila. And actually, before I do that, I have a hood latch across the street out of a parts car. So I'm gonna go pull that. Well, checking on our wheel here, and it's not looking like it's much different, which sucks. So, here's our parts car. This thing's in pretty rough shape, but we do have a hood latch, so we're gonna be pulling that out and, you know, using it instead of doing this all over again twice. Voila, we got another hood latch. I'm gonna clean this thing up a little bit. It is greasy, which is good because that means it's functioning correctly, but it's just gross. So, I wanna clean it up a little bit. Now, don't that just look 10 times better? I know it ain't brand new, it ain't perfect, but it looks a hell of a lot better than what we were about to put back in there. So let's do pretty simple stuff. All that little bead does there on the end of your cable is hook right into there where it's basically resting, and then your white plastic piece hooks into basically where it's resting. It's not too bad. And then you just reinstall it the way you took it out. So, pretty simple stuff. I know this isn't really an instructional video, but you know, it's nice to have these kind of things. So, anyways, enough of that. Let's get to it. There we have it, all back installed in there, right? My cable's in there. So we're going to basically make sure that this does open and does work. It worked on the other car, and the cable should work now. So, you know, exciting stuff. We get to try it out. See, this is why we check things. This thing down here needs pushed over. Alright, after some adjusting, which you might have to do up or down, left or right, got it to close. Now hopefully, I don't have to do this all over again. It pops. Let's see what happens. And something's not right because that safety latch was already pulled. So I just pulled out on this a little bit on the bottom to kind of get things back to where they were square, where this thing is used to working. And it's latched currently. Popped. Our cable retracts as it should. And safety is now working, so I have to push it over, and voila. So that's one project done. We do have a working factory hood latch and cable today. Now that that's all in working order, we're gonna put it back together. But before I do that, I'm gonna go out here and try power washing that wheel off that we're trying to mess with and see what it looks like, or at least just pressure washing it with a sprayer. Well, it took off some, but not much, and that sucks. But we're gonna throw another layer on there, nice and thick, and see if that doesn't do nothing. And after that, I'm just gonna have to do some hand sanding and say that that's gonna have to be the way it is, and they're gonna have to be polished out. So let's throw another layer. Got that coated up with another thick layer. Let's put this front end back together and get this thing back to one piece. I might back it up real quick and wash this all off because it's gross. Don't like that. That's what we're gonna do. Yeah, we don't want all that nasty, dirty stuff up in there and then putting this back on. I'm also going to rework that fender before to put it back on, like I said. Probably just put it on, fit it off, put it on, fit it off. See if we can get it to edge up better like it should so that I can put this side skirt back on and not have a big old gap. So I went ahead and put the fender back on, and I'm going to put the side skirt on mock-up wise and try to get this fender down here where it's kind of messed up. Because like I said earlier, I bought this fender used. And try to get it to look a little bit better, because before when I put it back on after it had been knocked off, it just had a gap that I wasn't okay with. So I just went over to the parts car and I pulled these off, and you might be asking yourself, if you don't know, what are these? Well, these go inside the side skirt. So this is the side skirt that I have to put back on this car, but as you can see I only have two. And that doesn't hold it on very securely, and that's also missing these where there's a clip and a clip and a clip and a clip. And it also needs to have a bolt and a bolt, or a screw and a screw, I guess you could say. So I'm gonna put these in. Pretty simple. They go in like that with the flat spot up, and then you just slide them in. So pretty simple stuff. Just gonna pretty much do one on camera for you real quick. Like I said, just put the flat spot up. It can go up or down, but you just push them. And they just, you know, click in. This one's going in crooked, but this one's going crooked because it's broke, so let's get one that's not broke. And just like that, you know, pretty much, it doesn't look square, but it's just this rubber. It's in there. So there you have it. They are all in like they should be, and now we can go focus on putting this thing back on the right way so it doesn't fall off again. You see this little gap from this damaged fender? That's what I'm trying to get rid of. It's obviously not too bad. It's all back on there. It's snapped on, but I'm gonna run over to the parts car and grab the clip that goes in this little square here that threads, you know, it's threaded for the screw to go into. Then we'll get that put on and it'll be good to go. This little piece is what I'm talking about. This thread, it's threaded, well, kind of, sort of, you know, it's got threads cut into it basically for screws, and it will pop in to the fender, and then we'll throw a screw between the fender and the side skirt to keep it on. That keeps it from being able to slide back and forth because that's how you pull off those side skirts. But I just realized on the parts car over there across the way, it has a passenger side inner fender liner. So thank God it's parts car, and I'm going to, you know, use as much of it as I can to put this thing back to stock like I want it to. It also has like factory radiator, which is great. I mean, that thing works good, but there's nothing better than factory fans and all that stuff just when it comes to what I'm trying to do to this car. So, but anyways, I'm gonna be happy with that. It's on there, it's not going anywhere, so we'll be cool with that. I'm gonna put this front bumper back on. Before I put the bumper back on, I got one thing that I do want to do, and we're gonna do that, so I'm not ending the video just quite yet. This is a factory 99 2000 Honda Civic SI emblem for the front grille. Can't even buy these anymore, I'm pretty positive, but at the time when I bought it for $26 from Honda OEM factory right out of the store for whatever car may or may not be underneath that cover. For those of you that don't know what that car is, I'll introduce it eventually. But before I put this bumper back on, I might as well do it and put it back on there, because this is just another thing that's going to make this car one step closer to being stock. So all this takes is 3 little Phillips head screws, 1, 2, 3, and then you bolt it in the center of the grill. So I had these 3 little Phillips head screws in my awesome organization little cubbies over here. It's so nice to be able to walk over and just grab things that I know that I need, especially when I'm working on Honda a lot. So I keep a lot of factory Honda bolts and stuff in there. But yeah, these work, and we're just gonna go ahead and throw this thing in. I'm actually gonna be switching to these because they have a larger head on them, which will help cover more surface area on the back of the grill and keep this thing in there so I don't lose it. Alright, now that I got that on there and I'm happy with that, it's time to end this video off by putting the bumper on. So, thanks for watching. I hope you consider subscribing. Thanks for those of you that already have subscribed. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Stay tuned for more videos on the blue em1 here, because I got lots more work left to do and all these other projects. We'll see you guys on the next video.